back to another episode of Stories from a Mountain Town. This is your host Tyler, coming to you today actually from Roseville, Minnesota. We took this podcast on the road, kind of. Today with me I have my best and oldest friend, Alex Marolt. Alex, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
We are podcasting today from your house. We made a little jerry-rigged podcast studio up in here in his little office space. But I knew in the time that I came back here to Minnesota for a wedding that I had to get you on. And you'll probably come on many times, but I knew we had to get you on here in the early stages of the podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about it. I mean, I've been listening, and all the other ones have sounded great, so I'm excited to be on it myself.
Yeah, awesome. So tell the listeners what you have brought us to drink today.
Yeah, so I have two different batches of homemade moonshine. We have what was kind of supposed to be strawberry rhubarb, but I realized that it's not rhubarb season here in Minnesota, so it kind of just ended up being strawberry. And then I have just classic apple pie moonshine. So we got both of these to try out.
Wonderful. Let's pour ourselves a glass.
All right.
And it just turned 4 o'clock, so we are good to drink this. Is this enough or too much? Or?
That's good. That's perfect.
Okay. The one you poured me the other day was like really tiny. I was like, oh crap.
Super little one.
Is this going to get to me?
I gave you a test. You guys were driving. I was like,
Yeah. Awesome. So cheers, man.
Cheers.
That's very sweet, but it's not like syrupy.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste like I'm drinking like strawberry maple syrup.
Yeah, that was our first time doing that one. We've done apple pie. We kind of have nailed. We've done that in the past, and that's usually really, really solid. Mm-hmm. We haven't done strawberry before though, and that was kind of like I said, it tried to be strawberry rhubarb, but we pretty much just ended up putting like strawberry juice, strawberry lemonade, and then mixed berry. We just kind of threw it all together. Uh-huh. Ended up being pretty sweet, but not bad for a first try at it.
Yeah, definitely. So you tell the listeners like what way do you want to get into like doing this little moonshine things, these little moonshine concoctions?
Yeah, well, I mean, my dad and my uncle will both do it, and I mean, when I say moonshining, I'm not actually making the alcohol. I mean, it's just pretty much just Everclear.
We're not out in the woods.
It's pretty much just Everclear, and then we just more or less are adding juice and boiling it down and adding in some things of our own. But yeah, we've always had it at like family holidays, things like that. They always have apple pie moonshine, and my dad's tried a couple other ones, cherry and blueberry, and they're always phenomenal, and they're awesome just to have a little tiny glass of, and it just kind of good to sip on. So yeah, I've always liked it and like playing around with different flavors of it. So it's kind of fun to get into it myself.
Yeah, it probably scratches your little tinker itch that you have that I've talked about on here about your golfing, but like you get to like you can tinker with flavors and mess around with them to get like the exact one you need.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, like this one that we made, the strawberry one, I made it with my buddy Josh. Actually helped me out with it, but I told him, I was like, I'm almost glad we didn't knock it out of the park the first time because now we get to play around and maybe we want to throw in more lemon juice, cut out sugar, do different things with it. So yeah, it kind of plays into my tinkering fascination.
Yeah. Awesome. So you came out to Jackson in the end of June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a ton of fun. And that was your first time really going to mountains. I mean, you said you drove through like the Smoky Mountains when you went to Florida.
Yep.
And we went to school in Duluth, so like those are kind of mountains. Up the North Shore, it's kind of mountains.
Kind of sort of pseudo mountains, yeah.
Yeah. So what was like your first thought when you first saw like how big the Tetons are, and like this isn't Denver where you're just kind of on the edge of them. You're like in them, and our house is on one. Yeah.
So I'm actually gonna take it a step back really quick. So when obviously you moved out there, and I knew I was going to come visit you at some point, you and Tay. But, when Nicole and I were kind of planning to come out there, so Nicole is my girlfriend, we were planning a trip to come out and see you, and I was kind of like, I don't know, Jackson's not, from what I understand, I don't know if it's necessarily like my scene, I'd like to be laid up on a beach somewhere for vacation, if we're going to spend the money to do it and make the time and effort. But, we came obviously because you guys were out there, so it was absolutely worth it. But that was kind of my thought going into it. So right away, my first impression is we're flying into the Jackson airport and we're literally like, we're below the tips of these mountains on either side. And I'm like, I like nudge Nicole on the plane and I'm like, hey, like look out the window. And I'm in the window seat. And she's like, yeah, no, I can see him on the other side too. Like we're in the mountains.
Yeah.
And no, so it was just amazing. We stepped out, and I was like, instantly felt, I was like, okay, this is truly like a different atmosphere already than what I would have expected coming into it.
Mm. Yeah, that's awesome. That's I don't fly that often anymore to Jackson, but there's a point when you drive in from on the east side of the valley. There's the pass over there. You're still an hour away from the town of Jackson. You're miles away from the Tetons, but you're up in this pass, and the Grand and the big three just like pop out of the top, and you're just like, holy shit, that's big because we're really far away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and that was probably the first thing that we noticed, like stepping off of the plane. It's like you look left, right, straight behind you, and we're just like, there's views everywhere. It's amazing. Yeah. And it's just like it's breathtaking. It really is. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. Like I said, not having seen real mountains before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and at the Jackson Hole Airport, they don't have the gates that come out to connect to the plane. So you just walk out a little like ramp thing, and you're walking on the tarmac, and it's basically right in front of the Grand is where the airport is. So like the best view is like your first view if you come in when it's clear, enter the day.
Yeah, I also want to make note that I president waved coming off of that plane.
Yeah, did you do the picture thing?
Yeah, oh yeah, double deuces. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't know that. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's a lot of people get that idea that it's because most of the people that live in the mountains are like ski bums. They want to ski. They, long hair, beards. They're out in the woods every day, and that's not everybody. But there's plenty of there's all that in Jackson, but there's also like golfing. There's like great restaurants. There's great places to get drinks, and that's pretty much everybody. And even just like the driving thing, like everyone would get excited to see a moose or a bunch of elk or bears,
right?
And so that's where like that's probably why like we have 4 million tourists a year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like I said, coming into it, I think I had kind of this picture of like what the Jackson Hole experience was, and I was like, I don't know, I don't ski, I don't snowboard. Mm-hmm. Even though I live in Minnesota, winter's not really my thing. Like I like to golf, but even just like there's kind of a thing for everyone, right? Like anyone could go to a brewery and have a good time. Mm-hmm. We got a chance when we were out there to go golf, and that was awesome. And there's actually a ton to do, and while you're doing all of these unique things, there's just these amazing, breathtaking views around you. I think I can't stop talking about that part of it because it changes your whole perspective of it, right? I've been to a ton of different breweries here in Minnesota, and my experiences are the same. And breweries in Jackson, it's not necessarily that they're vastly different than the ones here. It's just that you're in Jackson, so that makes it different. That feeling that you have there. Yeah,
we went to where did we go? Still West. Did we go to Still West? Did we go to? Yeah, we went to Still West, and they have one of the best patios in town for sure because they're right in front of Snow King. So like you can't even, and the way the roof of the patio is, like you have to like you like to turn your neck to like see all the way up the Snow King because it's so much right next to you.
Right. No, it was actually like, like I said, it's just a different experience when all of that is kind of going on around you and experiencing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played golf at the Links at Teton Peaks, which we had Brent on the podcast here, and they're one of our marketing clients.
Shout out the Links.
Yeah, shout out to the Links. They, what do you think of like? Obviously, the views are great there too. What do you think of like the course itself, like within the playing area? Like tee to green, like that sort of thing. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, it's actually an awesome setup, and it's super. It's a super fun course because you can play it different ways. Like, I think, I talked with a couple of my buddies about, course, is this a course that's like a one-time deal and you go out and you kind of just get your ass kicked by it or something? Or is this a course that you can enjoy in playing every single day and you're kind of going to get a different feel every time that you play it, or you can get a different feel every time you play it? And that was kind of my takeaway from that course. I felt like you can play it a bunch of different ways, mm-hmm. and you can really challenge yourself. Or if you really want, you probably can go out there and shoot fairly low. And that's really fun to do sometimes as well.
Yeah, I think I always call it a second shot. It's a second shot golf course. Because most of the tee shots, and this is part of the fun piece, there's a lot of tee shots where you can take a really aggressive line and really get a good result, get a good reward out of it. Or you can take a much less risky line, but still play it up But if both of those tee shots, your second shot is the most important shot.
Yeah.
On almost every single hole.
Yeah.
And I really like that about it because, as you know, most amateur golfers were not that great off the tee. So it's not very fun when you're just like your second swing of the hole is your fourth stroke every single hole.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And I mean, like when I talk about it being either, it can be very challenging or it can be, a little bit more scoreable. But yeah, it's that second shot. I mean, for me, getting off the tee, that's hands down the worst part of my game.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be extremely left, extremely right, doesn't matter. But what I like about that course, the links, is that you can actually get your ball out there, and at least I'm in play, and I have a chance to make a par on the hole, rather than digging my ball out of the woods, dropping it, slapping 3 up 50 yards, and then hitting it again.
Yeah. Yeah, and they make it, there's enough penal areas around the greens where, like, even if you have an easy drive, easy tee shot, your second shot, even though it may not be that far, because it's not a long course, you could really mess stuff up. Like, whether it's the island green on 7.
I did mess that up.
Hole 2 has water almost completely cutting you off from the green. There's a little walkway on one side. So you're covering water pretty much every single shot. And it goes on where there's enough penalty areas around the greens that can really give you a difficult second shot, even if it's not that long.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. I mean, and that's way more fun to play golf that way, right? Because, like, for me, maybe I missed the green and I can still chip and 2-putt for a bogey. Like, that's still fun golf, right?
Yeah.
But to actually score, it puts an emphasis on hitting those greens. Like, that's a real challenge, and that's what makes it really fun.
Yeah.
It was also cool for me. So shout out to Brent for letting me use his clubs.
Yeah.
But it was super cool. It was my first time playing a real round where we're keeping score and everything, obviously, using blades.
Yeah. And so that was fine. All your bad shots were not because you had blades.
No, not at all. But it was super cool. I mean, that just kind of added to my experience on it. It was another unique aspect of playing out there.
Yeah. And Brent is such a big piece of the success of the course because he's there every single day in a good mood, happy to see you. He loves golf, and that's super. You learn that very, very quickly. In more than loving golf, he loves passing that along to other people, whether it's teaching golf or just like enriching the experience that you have at the golf course that day.
Yeah, I think it shows by like the people who are at the course and just kind of the all around vibe of the course, right? I mean, that kind of starts with him. He kind of is the one who sets that tone of what it's going to be like day to day. And I think it's because of his attitude that course is the way it is. And it's probably one of the most unique. I mean, they let dogs on the course.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I've obviously never experienced that. But just to give you an idea of kind of what the vibe of the course is, that's super unique. And it's a really cool aspect of it. And not only do they allow dogs on the course, everyone else on the course is cool with dogs being on the course.
Yeah. I've said this a couple times before. I'm never worried about my dogs going up to other golfers because they have dogs most likely, or they're just cool with it because it's just a known thing.
Yeah, they get it.
And this is separate from like their skill. There's like not very people that are like the people that are out there are not like serious golfers. They're very good, but they're not like stuffy and serious.
Right.
Like there's most days I'm the most serious one out there just because I'm wearing golf clothes.
Because I'm keeping golf clothes.
Because I'm keeping score.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's like that's kind of the best part of it, right? Because like you can go out there and you can be as serious as you want, and you can also go out there and probably play barefoot, drink beers, and have an awesome time with your dogs. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't know why more courses that are like they don't want to be the best course in their area don't do the dog thing because it's an insurance policy that the course has.
Right.
And I don't know if I can even be saying this, so this might be edited out. Brent, let me know. It's an insurance policy that the course has that allows them to not be liable if a dog like bites someone.
Yeah,
and it's not like a crazy idea. They could just whatever insurance company other courses use, just say let's make this kind of policy, and then we'll pay whatever, and it'll financially be worth it because there's probably a lot of people that think like me and like, I have an afternoon I could play or a Saturday I could play. I could either play golf or take my dogs out somewhere. And it's hard to make that decision where the links, you don't have to make that decision. It can be both.
Right.
Because it's walking. I walk a lot, but if you take a cart, like that's 4 hours your dog's just running around constantly. Like that's a lot of miles on dogs, and they're just that's as good as any walk you could bring them on.
That was one thing too. I mean, Bridger and Matt just loved it. You could tell. I mean, they just zip around, and it was just awesome for them.
Yeah, they just get to be dogs out there because they don't understand that the effort put into keeping the grass green and short and smooth. They just think this is one giant field, and Dad's just walking around with a backpack on.
Right? Yeah. No. You know? I mean, yeah, but that's an interesting point that you brought up too, though, because I mean, in Minnesota, right? What are your differentiators of course? I mean, you have nicer courses, you have
price point,
right? Mm-hmm. Which kind of indicates nicer course or not. You have length of course, things like that. But for the most part, in Minnesota, you're going to get a course that is pine tree lined. It's going to be maybe a little wrinkle here or there. Pretty, might be on a lake. Maybe that's a differentiator. But for the most part, you're kind of getting the same style of golf.
Certainly around the Twin Cities.
The Twin Cities, right? But like, how has one course not just said, we're going to pop dogs out here and say that's fine? Mm-hmm. There, now you have a differentiator. Like, how has that not happened? Like, people love dogs. Yeah, especially, Minnesotans as this specific crowd. Like, we all, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but so many Minnesotans are hunters with hunting dogs. We just all the suburban areas, we all have labs and stuff like that. And right.
Or like the cabin courses. Like, there's so many courses around the cabins, and there's not a differentiator. It's mostly just like what's closest to your cabin. Yep. Or like if you are a serious golfer, like what do you like about the setup?
Right.
But if you could take all that and place it at even, and then just you add that they allow dogs, they would make a killing.
Yeah, I mean it seems, and I'm sure there probably is like more to it that we're not even considering, but it feels like such a no-brainer. I'm surprised at a minute that no one's even tried it. Like we've
never heard of it before. Yeah.
Right. Maybe it fails and that's fine, but like somebody out there listening to this, please give that a shot because dogs should be on golf courses.
Yeah. This is a big thing. Do you listen to Eric Anders Lang's podcast?
I've listened to a couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's, for the listeners, he's kind of a golf content creator, golf personality, if you will. He will go out to these, whether it's a certain country or just a group of courses, and they'll have him do kind of like a travel vlog, scenic drone commentary kind of video showing how cool the course is, why you should go there. But it's never about the score. I've never even heard him say his score on a course. It's never about like how good he did. It's just about like always having fun out there because you can even if you're not playing as well, you can have fun. And then his big thing is like, why aren't more courses having dogs out? Because it's just a big giant green space. Right. And he's been in Scotland plenty of times, and all their courses allow dogs. In addition to just like the golfers, like it's more of just like a park. It's like a city park that there's golfers on.
Right. You're just playing.
So someone could just be walking their dog through the course, and that's just okay because it's a big green space.
Right.
And so I really like how he says about that because he speaks well about it, and I totally agree with that. All golf courses. I mean, if you're private, then you get to pick that because you're private.
Yeah, it's a different deal.
But the public courses, like if you're trying to run a business as a public golf course, that's a differentiator that you're just forgetting about.
Right.
Because of the idea that for some reason that this green space is different than other green spaces that we can't have dogs.
Yeah.
Like, what are you worried about? A little dog urine? Like, other animals are defecating on your course and it's not damaged.
Right.
And I mean, picking up dog poop, like that's something that the links hammers on. Like they give you bags so that we make sure it's clear and everything. But like,
I think that's pretty reasonable, right? Like as a dog owner, like you're trained, like you can't.
We've been doing
that. Crap everywhere when you take it for a walk. Like,
we've been cleaning up shit for the whole life of our dog, so it's not like it's a new thing for us.
Right. I like that bit about Eric Anders Lang though, when like just his whole kind of demeanor, and it kind of ties into part of it is dogs on the course, but that was a part that made me. I mean, I really enjoy golf, and since baseball's been done for me, that was kind of my next thing that I picked up, and I'm naturally very competitive. But he talks a lot about just kind of enjoying it for what it is.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, if I shoot pretty low to mid 80s pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, if I shoot an 81 or 86, like that should not matter to me.
You're still coming back here.
Nobody.
You're still going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, like nobody gives a shit or not, right?
Yeah.
Like no one's like, oh, like now I think higher of Al because he shot an 81.
I'll say, hey, great job, you shot a 78.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and like that.
Maybe we'll get an extra beer.
Hey, that's a good day.
Yeah.
We can also do that if I shoot a 91 though.
Yeah, for the same amount of beer, but for a different reason.
Yeah. But yeah, he kind of has that concept of just enjoying it and taking it in for what it is and not getting so wrapped up in the competitive aspect of it when you're not playing competitively, which, far more often than not, that's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've had so much more fun this year golfing than I have in other years because of listening to him. Because I'm, like you said, I'm competitive too, but I don't take the time to go to the range and like practice. Like I've never had a lesson ever. I've just like kind of been watching. I like sometimes watch YouTube videos, and now knowing Brent, he's giving me some tips, and I kind of do little swings when I'm bored at home. But I didn't go to I went to the range twice this year, and they were both just before a round I played.
Right.
Once at Teton Reserve, once at the sporting club with you.
You hit like 30 balls. Like it's not.
Yeah,
it's
a warm up.
Like,
it's not like I'm getting like drills set up.
Yeah.
So I just like I knew I didn't need to. I didn't want to put the work in because I want to do other things in my life, and that's fine. But I also enjoy it. So it's just like training your brain to just have a good time regardless. And I ended up playing better.
Yeah.
Because of that, because I'm not like worried if I shoot a 6, get a 6 or a 7 on a hole. I'm not like grumbling to myself and just chopping at the ball. It's like, oh, it's just like, the next one we can just try to have a better shot.
Yeah, you kind of take that pressure off of yourself, and that just
there's less pressure when I'm just out. I've trained my brain to just be thinking of golf as just a walk with my dogs, where I hit, 85 balls.
Boom, circle them back.
Yeah, exactly. All right, yeah. So let's move on into let's talk about our marketing company. So, as those who follow us on social media would have seen, we kind of announced. It's been around for longer than this, but we kind of announced our company like just about a month ago to our social medias. It's called Marolt Meany Marketing, and we took so long to try to come up with a name. Remember this?
Yeah, we were at like Crooked Pint. I remember we were sitting there for like multiple hours trying to type in different names and being shocked at the amount of names that were already taken.
Yeah,
like things that we were like, well, there's no way this one will be taken. Then we type it in, taken.
Yeah, there's just so much time on like we're just like screw it. Like if we're gonna do good work, so it doesn't actually matter what the name is. Like we'll just put our names on it.
Right.
Whatever. And you can kind of fill in the gaps here, but I'll just tell like the inception of the idea.
Yeah.
So we've been going to my cabin for years, and we'd be at bars and places, and people would ask us like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, like I just got a marketing degree from Scholastica, or I'm in marketing at Scholastica, or whatever. And these plenty of small business owners, and like they paint cabins, or they plow, or they have a fishing guide service or something. All these little companies, they would say like, "Oh, you want to do marketing for my company?" And that wasn't. I had a different job than marketing, and I didn't really want to be doing it for some random business. But I heard it enough times where I was like, it seems like there's like a hole in this market where a lot of these small business owners recognize that this digital marketing stuff is important, but they're not doing it. They don't know how to get it, and it's pretty expensive. So they just have like their niece or nephew that's in their 20s doing Facebook for them, like a couple posts a month. So then we were up in the hot tub, and we were just like, I think you said that you wanted to start a company one day, and then I kind of threw off that idea. So we just came up with this idea of like, we're just going to be better than that niece or nephew and cheaper than like a big company. And we started it, and then like, got the right licensure, and like got names, and like figured out our offering and our pricing and like what we're going to focus on and all that. And that was like, when did we do that stuff?
When we started in October, so that was probably the beginning of that summer of 2018, really. When we got on it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I think what's kind of funny about the whole, even just hearing you say it now, I guess I haven't really thought of it in these terms, but for how like robust of an idea this is, the simplicity of it is awesome.
It is.
Like in our simple little minds, we were like, look, I have a marketing background. Tyler's in sales. Very simple. He'll sell it. He'll teach me to sell it. I'll market it. I'll teach him to market. And that was basically like the premise of why we started this thing, and obviously built based on the need. And I want to share this too because I remember so clearly. There's what kind of furthered our idea that this is the right thing to be doing is there's this billboard on the way up to Ty's cabin, and it's this big obnoxious yellow billboard. And I was like, Ty, you know how much billboards cost? And they're expensive. Like for those of you who don't know that, the billboards are actually expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's way more effective and efficient ways to market that we actually know how to do. So I was like, okay, we're on the right path with this. We can do this thing.
Yeah, what is that? It's the one that's like a small. I don't even know what they do, but there's just
It's like
so
along
much
the
going
train
on.
track.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. They just have like it's like small font, a ton, like weird font, a ton of writing, and then like no phone number, no call to action. It's just like let's just throw up on a billboard and get it out there.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we driven to your cabin?
Thousands.
I have no idea what business is paying for that billboard, and it's been there forever.
And they're trying to get you. They would love you to call them and buy something.
Yeah, I should be the one to call them. I drive by it all the time. If they're gonna hit someone, it should probably be me.
Yeah. That's a good point. There's so many like they don't understand like how cheap and how much more effective digital marketing is right now than even radio, newspaper, billboard, and TV. Because all those, we listen to Gary Vee all the time, but all those, and he talks about this, all the traditional platforms, the price is really, really high because the biggest companies in the world have been doing them for a long time. So their big budgets, their ability to pay big money pulls up the cost that that someone who owns a billboard can offer.
Right.
And the person who is going to put you on TV or put you on radio, because Budweiser can buy an ad in that space too, so you compete with Budweiser for the spend.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, if you look at like a Super Bowl ad, right? I mean, it's all the beer companies. It's Doritos. There's Mountain Dew.
Yeah. And then they can spend $1 million.
Right.
On a 30-second ad.
But mom and pop shoe shop can't.
Can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can get. I mean, you can't get Super Bowl reach, but if you do a good job on Facebook, you can reach. You can get. What do we get at props? We get like 3,000 to 5,000 people reached per post.
Yeah, consistently.
For them, and it's more direct because they chose to follow. So it's not like, what's the who's the guy that yells in the infomercials? Billy
Mays.
Billy Mays. But like, hey, buy our thing.
Right.
It's not that. Like they chose to follow you, so they're like at least a little bit wanting to see what you have there.
Yeah, I mean it's much more in market. I mean, it's if you talk about like bang for your buck, which is kind of what small businesses are all about. I think there is a slight shift that is happening now in the mindset. I think we see it with some of our clients where they're starting to get it. They're like, okay, we know that digital marketing as a whole is important. We get that. We don't know how to do it, and we don't want to pay a lot to do it, but we get it. We get the premise that it's important.
Just that it's important, but
yes.
But they still aren't. They still most of our clients. I mean, you can say that you think it's important, but when we'll know that one of our clients really thinks it's important is when they're willing to pay to have us do a full digital marketing approach where it's doing social media consistently, social media ads, multiple platforms of social media, Google ads. What else would there be? Having a good SEO approach to your website,
right?
All those things is when we'll fully see that they're like, okay, we know it's important, and we know financially that it's important because they're going to willing to do it.
Right, and I think something that's been kind of cool for us, and we're probably going to find out how beneficial this time in our business really is down the road because we have to get so creative a lot with the things that we're doing because we're on such a limited budget.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, the bad side of it obviously is that we don't get to do all of those things at once that you just talked about.
Yeah.
We kind of get to do pieces of each of those for our different clients. But, and where we really feel that we can excel and take it to the next step is when we get to do all of those things for all of our clients.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, part of what's kind of cool about what we get to do right now is the creativity of it, of, we only have X amount. So how can we optimize on this amount? And I think that challenges us. I think,
really good, really efficient with our time.
Yeah.
I figured that out. I don't know how I was able to figure it out super quickly with the links. So I said it on the Brent Baldwin episode. The links is one of our few contracted clients. I did all their social media and helped them with some newspaper ads and some event planning last golf season. And it's not a big budget. It's not. I mean, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's not very big. But Brent was always very transparent about it. And so that made me want to be very transparent with him. So it's a really good working relationship. And so most of what I did is content gathering and content editing. And I figured out, like, how can I be the most efficient at getting usable content? And that was a big step in helping them out. Because that takes a lot of time in gathering and editing content and producing content. And time is money for us. And so, yeah.
I think it's kind of a crazy part about it too, is that, you may only see, we'll call it 3 to 5 posts a week or something like that for one of our clients. And that may not look like a lot, but the work that goes into it to schedule out a month's worth of posts or to schedule out a week's worth of posts even, and to build those out and to gather the content for those posts, there's a lot going on that kind of filters into that I think doesn't really get recognized as much. Yeah,
I figured out that, like, so we did 2 main series with the links, and one was called Swing Tip Tuesday, where we had filmed Brent doing talking about some swing tip that was common to amateurs and helping them fix it in like a minute or so. And then I would do a drone flyover of each hole individually, and we'd feature a hole, so feature hole Friday. So I got it down to knowing that for a feature hole Friday video. So usually it's like 45 seconds, my drone flying over the hole and then kind of hovering over the green. And then we have some nice music playing, and then we have the description of the hole in the caption. To go from, I know I'm going to do hole 2 tomorrow. I'm going to film hole 2 tomorrow. To go from that point to filming it, editing it, posting it is about an hour. So,
and that's just one post.
And that's just one post.
Right.
So we did for the links roughly 3 or 4 posts a week. For props landing waterfront grill, it's our first client. It's in Hayward, Wisconsin. We do more like 4 or 5 posts for them.
Yeah, a little bit more,
because those are more event based.
Yeah.
So we want to get those events out there.
Yeah, I would say with the difference there is, I mean, there's more events going on because it's a bar and grill, right? It's not just a golf course. There's stuff, different live music, different food deals, different drink deals going on every night. So there's a little bit more of a frequency there.
Yeah, and they do a really good job of scheduling a lot of musical events, so that gets people in. And then we kind of just have learned that people want to go to events more than just like a random day there. So we'll just like make an event out of a day, like come see the Packers, and you get and they worked out with some deals for us to work off of. So it makes it easier when they're willing to kind of bounce some ideas off of us also.
Yeah, that's that's the hook to get people in the door.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you're talking about kind of the way that we can gather these posts and things like that. I think that's one thing for us that we've gotten so much better at too, is just our efficiency in doing these things. And I mean, what takes you now an hour to do one of those drone shots for a hole, probably when we first started this was probably closer to 2 hours.
Yeah, what I noticed too is our post planning. So every month with our clients, Alex and I would sit down and plan out all the posts a month. So we look at okay, how many posts a week do we want based on events or the series we have going, stuff like that, the ideas we want to get out. And we plan out the month in a spreadsheet. And that, more than anything, we've gotten so much faster at. That used to take us like 2 hours of like grinding it out. Like we need to like, where do we come up with ideas to fill these spots? Right. And then now it's like towards the end of the season, it was like, I was just like, I just went and did it. Right. I just went and did Props' October planning because it was like, we know what we want to do. We know the events. And just from working with each other enough, it's like we know we're figuring out what posts do well, not for just like likes and views, but will lead to revenue. Yeah. That's at the end of the day, what we're doing is trying to drive revenue to our clients.
Get them in the door. They care about.
Yeah, and that's what they care about. So if they're happily getting more revenue, then we'll happily keep doing the work for them.
I think that's a cool thing too about our company, and kind of what you're speaking to is what we call our machine, right? And building out our machine, and that was kind of like a phrase that you had coined early on, and we talked a lot about first year, first 6 months, whatever it may be. What we're working to do as a company is we need to build out our machine. And what we mean by that kind of, right, was just basically our process of how we do things and nailing that down. And we knew that once we have that built, we think we're pretty damn close now.
Pretty good on social media there.
Yeah, in that aspect for sure. But as far as like just building out that machine, and then once we do that, that creates so much more bandwidth for us, because now clients become, and obviously different clients are going to present different challenges, but once we have that machine in place, it becomes so much more plug and play, and we get to do so much more. We have our head above water and can kind of look around a little bit with clients a little bit more than on the technical side of things. And I think that's kind of probably our next step. One of them.
Yeah. And I like that we built a framework, and because now, if we were to like hire someone, we don't need to just like throw them to the wolves and say, go do a social media plan for this client. It's like, okay, here are the themes that we focus on with this client and why we do that. And we built, and then it's like, okay, go build out a week first of a plan based on these events. So it makes our business scalable. I think once you build the framework or the machine, you can just, maybe you're building the framework of a car. You can just put a driver in it and they can turn it on, they can go.
Right.
Where they don't have to build their own car because they're new in the role or something.
And that's always been the goal, right? I mean, to get that in place so that...
That's what all businesses are. They built some sort of machine to provide an offering to someone, to a customer or to a client.
Yeah. And I think, we both had a very clear vision of that early on, of kind of what we needed to do to be successful. And we knew there were going to be things that come up that, we're going to have to learn along the way. That's just natural. That's what's going to happen. But we knew that was such a key piece in it. Yeah. And I think for that, we've stayed the course on that pretty well.
Yeah. We got it. We got social media pretty good figured out. Client acquisition is something that we're still trying to figure out every single day, because we're really hungry. We really want to be doing this stuff. We really enjoy doing this stuff. So it's just convincing someone to let us do it for them.
Well, that's such an interesting dynamic in itself, right? Is prospecting for us, with you being in Jackson and me being in Minnesota.
Yeah. And
even just the way that those two places work. I'm located in the Twin Cities, Minnesota, and you're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. The business world in Jackson and the way that small businesses work there are slightly different than what it's like here, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe I'd probably be willing to say a little bit more receptive in Jackson.
Yeah, there's a lot more like mom and pop shops in Jackson.
Yeah.
And they love and Jackson loves its locals. So me being a local, not for very long, but I can walk into a business and I'm high probability that I talk to an owner or manager, and high probability that they'll at least let me talk to them because I say I live here. And if it's like in the town of Jackson, I say, yeah, I just live right up there. And I say where I live, and they're like, oh, awesome. Like, that's great. And so they're just such great people because they're just trying to live their dream of running their business. And we're just trying to do that, of getting a business we can run on our own, right, and living in Jackson. And so I think they recognize that I'm here for the right reasons. So at least they hear me out.
Right. And it's not, and the cool thing too is, it's not as, I don't know what the word would be for this, but digital marketing wise, it's not an extremely populated area. right now, right?
There's a bunch of agencies.
I guess in comparison to the Twin Cities, right? Because I mean, there's everyone down here is doing that.
Yeah.
So finding
you mean more like the clients?
Yeah.
Potential clients. Yeah. There's plenty of businesses that aren't doing it.
Right. So I mean, yeah, and as far that's probably a difference. I mean, it's just more, I guess, commonplace down here to be utilizing that platform. I think there's more gray area or white space up there.
Attainable, gettable white space, yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of really cool agencies in Jackson, though.
Yeah.
I can send you a couple, but because there's there's way more businesses than there are people, like residents.
Isn't that weird?
So there's just a ton of businesses, and they're all focused on getting the tourism. So it's not like it's a little bit different beast. So it's like they're just trying to get people that are here for 1 week a year.
Right.
Or in Jackson for 1 week a year.
Yeah, the touristy aspect of it too.
Yeah, and then like the content gathering stuff that I'm a part of, there's a lot of people that do that. Like that's pretty populated.
Right.
Because there's a lot of like, someone will just live in Jackson for a season and they want to make a ski movie for the season, or they film for TGR, or they're just wildlife photographer. There's a lot of just content gathering type people that live in Jackson.
Yeah, and the fact that we're able to do kind of all of it in full service is a nice aspect too.
Yeah, it works out nicely that what I want to do and my skills are completely different than what you want to do and your skills and your experience.
That's an awesome point too. We should talk on that dynamic a little bit, because I think that we have a pretty unique yin and yang, and it's funny because Nicole just brought this up to me the other night. Because she was like, how do you go into business with like your best friend, and like you guys don't really butt heads. Like it seems like you get along well and you handle it fine. Do you ever like? She was like, do you worry that you guys are gonna get to like a butting heads point?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I just don't think so. And that's probably, I credited you with that because you are so much more calm. Like you have like the calmness and kind of the level-headedness, and I have a little bit more of that kind of a fieriness, I guess, to me. And I think that they complement each other at many times.
Yeah, there's been a ton of times just dealing with things in the business where you're just like, you're talking really fast and you're really fired up about something, and I'm just like, he works himself up, and I'm just like, let's just bring it down. Let's remember what we're trying to do here. Let's just, when we face the client, it needs to be calmer than that, or whatever. And then there's other times when I'm just like, it's whatever, and you're just like, no, this is important,
right?
And so it works out both ways, and we just know each other for so long that we know that any sort of like kind of getting on each other is not in a disrespectful way.
Right. Well, we both want the same thing, and we know that that's what we're working towards. It's never, it's really easy for us to separate our business conversations from our buddy conversations. I mean, there's definitely overlap for sure.
Yeah.
But but if we're getting on each other about something, it's never a personal thing. I'm never actually upset with you about it.
Yeah.
Right?
It's only if I'm getting on you, it's because I think something needs to change to get to our goal that we have talked about and we know is the same thing.
Yeah.
And you do the same for me.
Yeah. And I mean, and then there's that level of respect there too. I mean, which is why we started this in the first place, is we both thought we're very capable of doing it. I mean, if we wouldn't be doing what we're doing if we didn't have that level of respect in place in the, to begin with. Yeah.
And trust too, to be like,
definitely that,
to like fully know that your head's in the right place and you'll do the right thing. Like, even if I'm on the phone with someone or not on the phone, or if he has to do one of the actions that we do without me, or I have to do something that without him, like we have total amount of trust that we're both capable of doing all this stuff.
And that's even, I think that's probably there from the beginning. I think we kind of did it right at first with like probably our first like part-time client, where there was a lot of like, okay, we have to schedule a call together at this time, and we both jumped on and we both did, whatever we were working on. And it was like, we kind of got to a point where it's like, okay, we don't need to both be doing this. I know that you can just go get this done really quick in the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And you do the same with me. It's like, hey, go take care of that quick, and we go do it.
Yeah. Even though, I do like, if we lived in the same area, I really enjoyed the times where we would just get together and just jam out a bunch of work.
Right.
Whether it's doing different things or a similar thing, collaborating on something. Like we built social media plans together. Where like you're doing week 2 and 3, and I'm doing week 1 and 4, and we're just putting posts in and like saying, what about this idea? Like I'm doing this idea, so don't put that in your week. So like I maybe just from working remotely for so long, like I don't get that collaborative like kind of doing work time anymore.
Right.
Like Bridger is my collaborator.
He's a good security guard for us, though.
He is not, because he'll see a snowball fall off the roof and he wants to go get that.
He's the smartest big dummy I've ever met.
Yeah, at the same moment. In one moment he's just like, you're like, oh my god, this dog is intelligent, and the next moment this dog is like, he's the dumbest dog ever. Dude,
I remember when you first got Bridger. This is funny. So Tyler and I lived together when we were right out of college together. We lived in a house in St. Paul, and I didn't grow up with dogs. I was always like, fine with dogs, but I didn't, wasn't maybe the most comfortable just because I was never around them a ton. So Tyler tells me, he's like, yeah, I'm getting a dog. This is happening. And I was like, all right, well, we're renting this house. So
but I said that when we were planning to live together, because I knew like.
No, you did say that. In my head though, I was kind of like, that's down the road. We'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
that was my mindset. And then it became reality. And not only were you getting a dog, you were getting Bridger.
I was getting a wolf dog.
Yeah, okay.
That's what he meant.
Jackson Hole, I don't know if we're cool with that.
They're fine.
But, yeah, so he tells me he's getting Bridger, and Bridger is flying in from Chattahoochee.
Yeah.
Way down yonder?
Tallahassee Regional Airport, but the town that his breeder was in was Chattahoochee, which is not the same place as Alan Jackson. So it's a river that comes out of Georgia and then comes through this town. And Alan Jackson lived in Georgia somewhere on that river.
Oh, damn. Okay.
But, I mean, Bridger probably went down yonder on the Chattahoochee plenty of times in his young puppy months before I got him.
But that whole thing was so funny, too, because I remember I was like, all right, I'm not like the most comfortable around dogs, and now I'm getting, thrown into it with a wolf dog, right? And I think in my head I had worked it up to be so much more than it ended up being, where I was like, this little guy is going to terrorize everything. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to be this and that. But pretty much from day one, when you got Bridger, I was like, okay, this is actually awesome. And I think to your credit, you did a really good job training Bridger, and you also like kind of told me what was going on along the way. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that was just like you talking through it, if you're like, "Okay, dude, just cool it, like it's gonna be fine."
Well, I put so much research into getting Bridger,
like 6 books.
I researched for a full year before getting him. Like I started wolf dog research our senior year of college in the fall. And Dave Anstead, it was in your class. I didn't need to pay attention that much in those classes. I still got A's.
Still learned a lot though. That guy's the man.
Yeah, I learned more than any other class, but I could do wolf dog research. So started there, continued on through the summer. I got more books, did more research on like how do you train it, what's the difference, like what, and then like for all dog owners, you need to know what dogs are doing, why dogs are doing the thing they're doing. It's always because of what wolves do, especially with Bridger. And so all of his behaviors is just like their language of talking and what they're trying to get out of things. And so I knew that going in, and I knew Alex didn't know much about dogs, but it was very trustworthy of you and Steven to be cool with me bringing a wolf dog into the house. And it's my first personal dog. I grew up with dogs, and I trained Ricky somewhat in the beginning, but not the other ones because I was just a kid.
Right.
But they let me, I guess, live my dream of owning a wolf dog in a home that was like, had a lot of potential for a lot of shit to be broken, but Bridger only broke my stuff, so that's good.
It was exclusively your stuff.
Yeah.
I think he got his hands on one of my controllers once. I think that was literally the only thing ever.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, he was awesome. Except, do you remember when he used to bully me?
Yes. That's my favorite thing ever.
Dude, well, this kind of goes back to like me not totally being, and I love dogs now. Bridger totally changed how I act around dogs entirely. But
try not to bump the table.
Oh, my bad. But at first, I remember, like, I would kind of be like, okay, this is cool. And I'd kind of like, hesitantly put my hand out and stuff, and I'd be petting them. But we used to sit on this couch, and Bridger would always pop up on the couch next to us, which was totally fine. But I would sit in the spot that Bridger wanted to sit in. And he would just bite at, like, my love handles. And, like, not hard. It didn't even, like, hurt. It was just, like...
But it's little puppy needle teeth always hurt.
Oh, my God, dude.
And you would get up to, like, pee or something, and then he would steal your spot and wouldn't let you get back in.
Yeah, so he more or less, like, would bully me, and I'd have to move spots on the couch.
Yeah.
So Bridger was the prince of our house for a long time.
Yeah, and I figured that was... dogs and wolves and Bridger work in like the alpha hierarchy, where obviously I was alpha on the top, and it's only for their gender too, so it's only within males. So we had 3 guys and then Bridger in the house that lived there. So I was on top as alpha because I did everything for him, and then we lived with Stephen Piet, and he grew up around dogs, so he knew how to act and how to, like, you can be physical with them and tell them that you're the boss. So he was number 2. And then Alex was last because he didn't know how to do that.
It went Bridger and then me, if we're being
so
totally honest. Bridger was 3 and Alex probably 4, if we're being totally honest about this situation.
Well, I don't know about that because he knows you're a human. But I took that as him trying to jump you in that ladder. He was trying. If he didn't, he was trying to, because he saw you as definitely, like, you're not alpha dad. Steven pushes me around. I can get you. I can jump you.
There was no glass ceiling.
Yeah, that's what I took it as, because he didn't really do that stuff to me or Steven. And
no, he absolutely didn't. But you also wouldn't have allowed it. I did. Like, I allowed this stuff to happen because I didn't know. I was like, I can't nudge him or anything. It's a dog. I can't do that.
Yeah, where once he got big enough, like, you could be like,
well, right.
Now he's 100 pounds.
Yeah. But with all that being said, now he's my good buddy.
Yeah, and he loves you and he loves Steven. Like, for the longest time, whenever he'd see Steven, Bridger would pee. And he only does that for 2 people now. Steven, it's you and Cameron, my stepbrother. Nobody else. And I don't know what it is about you guys. Like, Cam spent ton of time with Bridger. Steven, you spent a ton of time with Bridger. And I spent a ton of time. He doesn't pee around me, my brother, my dad, or Al, and even, like, when we lived together, like, he would not see me or Al or Steven for the same amount of time. It was only Steven that he, like,
to run up to him,
excited peed about. And it was he would just roll on his back and pee right up at Steven.
It was waterfall.
So many times Steven had to just go change after getting home because Bridger sprinkled on him. But it was like happy pee.
Yeah.
So, like, how can I be mad at him being super excited to see my roommates? You can't. All right, so we should probably wrap this up. I need to get up to Andover to do a dinner with Taylor's family. So you've listened to the episodes. You know what I'm going to ask. The question that I ask all of my guests. Of the words who, what, when, where, and why, which of those drive you the most in your life?
That's a good question.
And the example is, for me, it's the where, and the where is Jackson. Where another answer, like Taylor's answer, was the who, like she wants to be around her mom and her sister and her dad.
Sure.
So then yours could be, whatever it is.
I think I'm gonna say the what, and I think the reason for that is it's a little bit all encompassing.
It has to be one. You can't say all of them. It's got to be.
No, it's not all of them. It's
word.
The what,
mm-hmm.
But it's the what I want my life to look like.
Uh-huh.
So that's where it becomes all encompassing, right? Because that brings in the who, it brings in the where.
Well, it's like you have an image of your future
life. I have a picture of my life and what I want it to be like.
And if you're not doing part of that or something to get you there,
right?
It's not, you don't do it.
So it's the what. The what is at the top, and that's my goal. My what is what I want my life to look like.
Oh, that's interesting. The other what, Noah had a what, and it was skiing. He just, he didn't really care where. He's okay being away from friends and family, but he needed to be skiing.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of took that in a different direction than I really thought I would have. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really think about it, but that was the first thing that popped in my head, and I was like, all right, that's what it is.
Yeah, it totally makes sense because you're not like a where guy necessarily. You're not necessarily a who.
Yeah, I mean the people. I mean the
We're
people in my
around.
life are a part of that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know what I want my life to look like for sure. But ultimately, it's all of those things together is what drives me, and it's what I want my life to be.
Yeah. Yeah. The same. My where doesn't mean that I don't love my family that's here, my friends that are here. Just that where had to be fulfilled before, or once that where got fulfilled, then I feel like a better person once the where got fulfilled. Like, you know, that like hierarchy of needs thing?
Yeah. It's like you kind of like you're getting that piece checked off, and now you can move forward. But you didn't feel like you could until you got that checked off.
Yeah, it was like just pulling at me, like get to Jackson, and then now that I'm there, like I work way harder because it's like, okay, that's checked off. Like I got that.
Right.
I need to work really hard to stay there and do the things I want to do, and I feel nicer because I'm not thinking about how do I get to Jackson. I'm thinking about like how can I be more thoughtful, how can I do more things for people and be more. I've been working on having a higher level of gratitude in my life, and just like thanking, like sending texts to random people and just saying like thank you for whatever part of my life you were a part of.
It's a cool thing to do. I like that.
Yeah, I sent I'm not going to show you the text, but I typed up this really long paragraph, just like thanking my dad for stuff, and it wasn't like thanks for the car, thanks for college. It was like mindset things, things that I hear him saying
that
to
he's
me every day.
Instilled in you.
Yeah, and stuff that he's instilled in me. I thanked him for all that. I sent it to him, and he's told me he started bawling.
Yeah, that stuff is crazy powerful. I don't remember I was talking with someone about this, but we were just talking about like, you know what's a sick thing? Is just like gassing up your buddies. Like cuz nobody like nobody does it, where like if I just texted you and I was just like, you know what, man? I think it's, I mean, I've told you this before, so this is a bad example, but if, you know, just out of the blue, I just texted you and I was like, you know what, man, what you're doing in Jackson is so cool, and I'm so proud of you for taking that on and just going for it and doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't receive texts like that, really, do you? Like from, I mean, maybe you do because you had like a major life event going on where you're just moving to Jackson.
Not so much text, but like in person, people will be like, hey, how's it going? And I say like, how much I love it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's amazing. I'm glad you feel fulfilled.
Right.
And then like my conversation with Lovick, because Adam and I and you are starting to get into this kind of similar mindset thing where it's like be a good person and be gracious, and that's
right.
And also like be a boss in business.
Yeah.
You can do those things.
Yeah, they can work together, absolutely.
So I get it from Adam sometimes, and then I don't need to get it from you because we talk so much. I already know what you're thinking.
But yeah, no, I think it's a cool thing. I'm trying to think of who I was talking with that about, but yeah, it's a cool thing. Or even just like
I do that too. Like I'll see someone doing something that I know really fulfills them, even if I'm not close with them anymore. Like, and I'll send them a text and be like, "That's really awesome." You know, I know what you feel like doing something that fulfills you finally.
Right. No, it's a cool thing, and then that makes someone's day too. Just because it's like it's something that puts a little wrinkle in your day, puts an extra pep in your step, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, but and then they pass it along.
Exactly.
It's like I know it's so cliche to say like being happy and being positive like brightens people's day, but like they totally pass it along. If you're like feeling if you're just neutral and then someone says something bad to you, or like you're in a bad mood because something happened. If someone turns around and says like, "Hey, I saw this come from your Facebook. Like, I'm really happy that you're doing something that fulfills you."
Yeah,
you totally like boost your energy, boost your spirit, and then you want to go do that to others.
Yeah, no, I think the
being a positive. I tell myself this sometimes because I forget it. Be a positive, a force of positive change.
Yeah,
whether that's I hope I'm a positive change in my friends in Jackson's life, where
like, here's this guy again.
Yeah, where we didn't know each other, and all of a sudden, like, we're doing fun things, and they, and they didn't have that before they met me, and now we're doing fun things, and it's positive. It's not like, good things start to happen after you know that person.
Yeah, I think it kind of attracts people to you. And I think it also, this isn't even necessarily like a karma thing, but it's kind of the same premise, I guess, is I think that does what goes around comes around type thing,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like, you putting out positive energy in that way. I think, you have good things coming to you when you do that. And maybe it's just because you're more open to it, or because your mindset is more opportunistic or optimistic, right? And yeah, I think that
whether it's like
outlook.
whether we want to call it like karma or God or something like
Karma
chameleon. If you're putting out positivity all the time, you're not going to get shit on back.
Right. Yeah. No, you're never gonna text someone like, "Hey, man, I'm super happy for you," or "I'm super proud of you," and they're not gonna be like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, shithead."
Fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, like nice text, idiot.
Yeah, I've said that to dudes that I don't even, wasn't even like close with, or like, maybe butted heads with.
Right.
But they'll look past like whatever that was for the positivity.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I think that's a super cool thing to be doing.
Yeah. And our lives are so damn easy. Like, relative to the world's history.
You're right.
If you're, I think it's something like almost everyone in America, actually, for sure everyone in America right now, maybe except for like the extreme poor, we're in the top 1% of quality of life in the history of the world.
Yeah.
So to be a 26-year-old person in Minnesota has never been easier. And I'm not saying that I go through life in a breeze and things are just handed to me. I have to work, but I have the opportunity to work, and I have the opportunity to get things I want from working hard. And I'm not worried about starvation. I'm not worried about most diseases.
Right.
Like, stuff happens.
Yeah, your overall well-being is for the most part safe, right?
We have a roof over our head that we know is not going to fall over.
Yep.
We're not going to get attacked by Indians. There's not a war going on in America.
Yeah.
And even most of the world, there's not real combat. It's just like some small zones. And so just like we get into, I think it's humans' brains that put a specific context and splay it out as the like the rule, the average of, or something, where we look at our context of our situations. No, not that, but like we look at our context of our situation. If you're having a tough week,
right?
Something happens in your family, or our jobs are really difficult and stressful. We look at that as just at what that is and how it makes us feel, and not looking at how much easier that is than every other human, mostly.
Yeah, those little moments become so magnified. You're not looking. Yeah, it's kind of that head above water viewpoint. You're so narrow focused on what's going on that you're not taking a step back and being like, okay, all things considered, my rough day at work just isn't that bad.
Yeah,
it's just not that big of a deal.
Especially being in business, like our worst days, we could lose the biggest deal we've ever lost.
Right.
But nobody died.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna die if we lose our big deal. No one's gonna get physically hurt. Like, and this is
how wild is that? Can you imagine? Like you call me up, and you're like, "Man, I'm so frustrated today. I lost this big deal," and I respond with the words, at least Tay isn't dying from the flu.
Yeah,
like that happened.
At least Tay doesn't have dysentery.
Right. But like that's a very real thing.
It's not for everybody, because like Taylor's had stuff like that happen in her job because she's in a labor and delivery nurse. So
right, yeah, but
some people have that happen, but they still
polio
have the easiest job as a nurse or a doctor than ever before.
Right.
They
have the most at their disposal than they've ever had.
Mm-hmm. She's not treating the plague. She doesn't.
Like peeling frogs at people.
Like the what would you call this? Like the rate that moms giving birth die at is tiny now.
In comparison,
we're like even in Civil War times and like Revolutionary times, it was very high.
Yeah.
And fetal losses, that's what babies dying, used to be very high.
That's
now it's just Taylor's a very good nurse, but she has the easiest job of nurses ever.
Yeah,
and she's not like a war nurse. She's not like,
right. But I mean, yeah, that's something that like the guys that we like to listen to. I think even when I was talking about Rogan or Gary Vee, like stop bitching. You have the choice to do that.
Yeah, you picked your job, you picked your major,
right? So like, don't bitch. And Gary Vee says this one too a lot of nobody cares. You know what I mean? I think that's an awesome one that I've tried to like. Because it's so easy to put your burdens on other people. Like if I call you and I, start venting about this or about that, it's like, and people need to do that. That is an important thing. It happens. That's why you have good friends, good family, good people that you can go to and you need to just vent sometimes. I get it. But for the most part, nobody wants to hear that shit. Because like
the good friends aren't the ones that say, "Oh, your manager's a bitch," or your good friends are the ones saying, let me try to get you a job at my company. Let me try to let me think of a solution for that. That is you doing different things. It's not like just the best of friends don't say the world's against you, Alex, in that situation. Yes. The best of friends are saying, let me help you solve this.
Yeah, maybe the better way is like bitching without change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The same thing repeatedly, where it's like, I had a bad day at work or something, and it's like, well, yeah, but you had a bad day yesterday. So at what point do you just not like your job, and like it's on you to find a new one?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Like you're always saying this, like, do you not like your job? Well, no. Well, just if you don't like your job, get a new job.
Yeah.
Like Trump just added, or I shouldn't say Trump. I was going to say Trump added jobs, but he didn't really add jobs. Our economy is doing really well. So 630,000 jobs were added in the month of November. Did you know that?
I actually did not know that number, but yeah.
We're at a time when it's as easy as it's almost ever been to get a job. I mean, maybe outside of like building for World War II or something.
I suppose.
And lots of jobs. Like,
right.
Are you in marketing? Are you medical? It's growing because we have a lot of old people, or the boomers are getting old and needing a lot of care. Right. And people are having babies more often. Or if you want to be in like real estate, people are buying houses right now. Like, so whatever it is you want to do, like there's a job somewhere out there.
Yeah. Or it's like
there's one in the 630,000 that just got added that you could do. Yeah,
kind of like the angel brother of stop bitching is like, have you ever heard of Hunt the Good?
No.
Which is kind of goes back to what we were basically talking about earlier. It's kind of rehashing that, but like it's basically just looking for the good in everything. So like we'll stick with the job example of like, okay, so you're bitching about your job, and it's like, awesome, that's a great opportunity to go find something you love. Or that's a great time to go start a marketing company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like twisting those, turning bad things into good things or good opportunities, right?
Yeah.
But we all have the choice to do that.
Yeah, it's not just bitching to bitch. It's like if you actually don't like what you're doing consistently, like maybe bitch about it, but then like change something.
Right. Yeah, do something.
If you're just bitching because you want to be in a bad mood, you want to complain about stuff.
Definition of insanity.
And people do want to do that. Some people just like complaining about stuff.
Yeah, I don't like those people.
Yeah, I like talking about the good parts of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm the good.
Someone's like, "Oh, yeah, you like your job?" I'm like, "Well, this is but I really love doing this stuff."
Yeah, and again, that even is like that's putting positive energy into it, because if you just start bagging on it, I don't like this, I don't like that, this sucks, this isn't great, and then now that person just like,
Yeah, then it's like, I had to hear Tyler bitch about his job.
Yeah, you kind of like bring down their attitude.
Yeah, and it's not rolling around with rose-colored glasses, because it's different than that. It's being real that there are bad things that happen.
You're just attacking it.
But can you change? If you can change it, then change it.
Yeah.
If you can't change it, then what's the use in worrying about it? Because you can't change it.
I like that.
Like,
that's right.
Except for taxes. We can always bitch about taxes.
I'm going to just spit out my drink. Tyler, for those of you who don't know this is like an awesome thing, and I've like sneaky kind of incorporated it into my life as well. And Tyler will he'll pay in card, and he will tip in cash, and on his receipt, he will write taxation is theft. Like almost anywhere he goes.
It is. It doesn't. Does it land as well in Wyoming because you don't have a state income tax?
I think we're getting to the base of why you moved.
That's part of it. I think it's like I get to move to a state that I can do all the activities I want to do, and I don't have a state income tax, and our government's pretty small but very efficient.
Hey, you don't like something? Do soming about it.
I did something about it.
Boom.
I now live in a state where my Republican vote actually counts.
Ah, there you go.
And people, I don't think I've ever really said this out loud ever, but people see me like with American flag stuff or Reagan stuff, and they know that I'm, I voted for Trump or whatever, but I'm not really a Republican at my core. What I am is smaller government. I'm not like, most of what Reagan's, I like Reagan for his economic policies, his foreign policy, and his Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
His acting.
But I didn't like his acting. I've never seen his acting. But he was one of these religious Republicans where it's not really like less government versus more government. It was really just like more government, but our version of it, Yeah. And that doesn't work out. So then it just comes down to more government, but either, whatever the Democrats want or the Republicans want. I want so much less federal government that we're not fighting over the president. We're not rioting over the president because his or her power doesn't even matter.
It shouldn't matter enough to be that pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I want it to be. So I usually vote Republican because they're usually saying smaller government.
They're the ones who are closer to that, at least closer to it than the other side.
Yeah, like Trump deregulated a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Like some trillion pages of regulations that he deregulated, and that's helping the jobs. And so that's more what I'm at than I am like, we need no marijuana, we need a lot of guns, and we need like church back in America. Like, no, we need like less government so that it's not as big of a deal as it is right now. Because it's such a big deal. Like, you bump into someone random and it jumps to like, did you vote for Trump or not?
You know what I think is cool?
This just happened at the wedding.
Did it?
Yeah, I bumped into. Hopefully she listened to this because this would be kind of funny if she heard this.
Just soaring.
No, it's not really her fault. It's just the times. I bumped into Nick's cousin Sarah.
Okay.
Do you remember her from Scholastica?
Yeah, I do actually.
Yeah, so we hung out like with Nick and everybody at Scholastica plenty of times, and so we bumped into her at the wedding, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like I knew she lived in another country, but I didn't know where, and I was like asking her about that, and I was like, and she jumped right into like, "It's way better in another country," and I'm like, "Why? America's great," and she's like, "I'm not having this conversation because of your political beliefs," and I'm like,
"You don't even know them though."
But I didn't. That wasn't political. I just said America's great. Like, I love America, not because I love the government. I dislike most of the government.
That's something.
I like the people.
That's something I don't like that our generation is doing.
God,
like,
you're right.
You can dislike some of the things that are going on, but like, if you don't like it now, then you've never liked it. There's things that were going on that were so much worse.
Yeah.
And in America and other countries as well, obviously, but like, I think that's a common thing is to just throw a blanket over it and say, well, I don't like this.
Because that orange guy's in the office. I don't like America right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's totally fine. If that's your opinion, that's fine. But my new thing that I've been doing, and I love that you brought this up when you said, what you actually value, small government, right?
Yeah.
And
smaller.
Or smaller, yeah. But I like asking people, what do you value? What are your values? Give me your top things. Because a lot of people, and this kind of even ties into bitching just a bitch. Because people like to just say, well, I don't, because if I'm saying this to like our generation as a whole, if Trump's Twitter is what you really value as like what really pisses you off the most about our country right now, that's insane. There are so many more important issues going on. It's not great. I'm not going to sit here and say it's awesome.
Yeah, it's somebody voted for him. I'm not like he should be tweeting every day, but it's a good connection to the president that we've never had before.
Yeah, and even at a minimum, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it,
I might want someone to vet his tweets a little bit more.
It's a streamline to his thoughts, which is at least something.
It's a totally different thing that we've ever had in America. We've never had that.
But I love coming back to like that's fine. What do you value? Because you've clearly put thought into like. Smaller government's what I believe in. This is why I liked Reagan. This is why I vote on this side, or this is why I have the opinions that I have.
Yeah,
And I think it's cool to challenge people on that. Like, okay, so that person hates America. What do you value then? What ultimately matters?
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people go on social media and they just see like a bunch of stuff, and I'm not.
They should just take that. Most people on both sides just take those 4 bullet points that each side has as their thing.
Right.
They may not like put conscious thought into like, do I care about that?
I bet there's a lot of people who, if they actually dove into like policies and things like that, would find that they don't even care for either party. Maybe they're third party, or maybe they identify as a Democrat and they look at it and they're like, not quite.
Yeah,
or they identify as Republican.
I want a couple of these things, but like I don't really care about the rest of them.
Well, yeah, like what do you value? Like for me, one that I don't give a shit about. I literally, people try to talk about it and try to argue about it, and I literally just don't care enough to have an opinion, is like the legalization of weed. It's just not one that I care for. I mean, I understand it. I get it. I've read on it. I get it. I still just don't care. And that's just my opinion. I just
it's not your hill to die on, and it's not even really a good hill to die on. Like,
yeah, but some people do. But I mean, but whatever it is, I mean, there's major topics, right? Like, I mean, death penalty and things like that. Like, take the leap to make an opinion and die on a hill. Then, other than a blanket statement of I don't like that.
Yeah. The positive aspect of what do you like? What do you want?
Yeah. I think it's a cool thing that I've started trying to do when people talk politics. What do you believe in? Because then you can at least have a conversation.
Yeah,
at least they have a reason.
Say, I believe in, blank, and you're like, oh, that's pretty valid. That's not important to me as much, but I don't, I'd love for you to have that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't care about, like, it's done and gone now, so it's already a thing. Like, I just don't care about, like, gay marriage. Like,
right.
I love Taylor, and so, like, I don't care who marries who.
Right.
I'm not like religious, so there's confusion. And I haven't always been in that thought process. There's like religious stuff that had to be worked out.
Right.
With that situation. But the whole thing is like, if there's less power in the federal government, that doesn't matter.
Yes.
The federal government shouldn't be determining who we love or don't love, and whatever word you want to call it, whatever. Like the fact that we have to like. Because the marriage thing comes out of religion and, like, creating children.
Yeah.
And now we're a little bit different than that culturally.
Right.
And I'm getting too far into this. I don't even care to get into. But
no, but I mean, I get it.
Is that if the government has less power, we don't have to ask them if gays can get married. Yeah. We don't have to ask them if we can smoke weed.
And maybe that's it.
Like, we can say to them, provide us with good roads, which they don't even do a good job of.
I live in Minnesota. You want to talk about good roads?
No, like Jackson's pretty decent for like the crazy winters we have.
Is it? That's good.
Like Duluth, awful.
Oh, Duluth.
But that's really hard too because it could be 100 in the summer and negative 50.
No, they don't stand a chance. Yeah. They can spend all the money they want. That's going to be screwed up.
And it's on a hill.
Oh yeah,
with a lot of moisture.
Yeah.
Nothing that says roads there, but provide me with good roads. Provide me with emergency services like fire, police, EMTs. Provide me with the military to protect our borders, and provide enough laws so that just barely enough laws so that certain industries aren't destroying natural areas or destroying waterways, and that's part of like caretaking of your people or whatever that. But there should be like 6 things government does.
Yeah, but why don't we? Yeah, but like so why don't people hit on like those things, kind of those higher level, like smaller government kind of like encompasses kind of all of, and I don't mean to like minimize those other issues, but like, but you know what I mean?
They wouldn't be issues if the government wasn't powering our lives.
Right. So I mean, but like that's your belief, but someone else may say, I want government involved in that, but just say that's your belief then, to have more government, less government. But I don't think people even think of it on this like level.
They don't.
They get so narrow focused on something, and they just dive into it, and it's like
you're a Nazi.
Yeah, right. And it turns into this big blanket statement. It's like, where did we get off the boat here?
Yeah. They want to make the political spectrum like left and right, where like fascism is on the far right, socialism's on the far left.
Right.
But it's really not. It really should be, are you for more or less government?
It's kind of a simple. It doesn't need to be as difficult and as painful as we probably make it.
You know, they just have more government on the outsides, and then just less government has some space to the right of center, where it's like, you know, because left of center is like Joe Biden and like Hillary. Like they're pretty centrist in the grand scale.
If we're talking like Hitler on one end, right? And like
the Hitler thing always confuses me because he was a fascist, but the Nazis were socialist, and his party took over the government and made the government way more powerful. So that's just more government. It doesn't matter what you call it. That's what I'm saying. It needs to be more simple. It's either you want more government or you want less government. That should be the political spectrum.
Right.
And it's kind of left and right, but then they'll just throw Hitler over there.
Well, that's kind of
white.
But you could kind of do that to any communist leader, right? Like at the end of the day, they're probably fascist, really. Like if you look
I don't even know the difference really, like between. I mean, I kind of know that like socialism is not a government structure; it's an economic structure.
Right.
So we kind of throw that one around incorrectly sometimes.
A lot of times. Where
like communism might be the government structure for socialism, right? Maybe.
Yeah. No, that's correct. It's kind of like Republican versus conservative. Maybe.
Yeah.
That might not be a great example, but
maybe yeah, but like more,
one's a shell of the other.
Because communism is more like authoritarian and militaristic. It's like a militaristic flavor of socialism, where the military does all the work, I think, maybe. And then socialism, or what Bernie is calling democratic socialism, is like we vote for the government to own all the assets.
Which is, well, yeah. So I think that's probably
versus the military, versus there being a revolution and then the military takes the assets. I think that's the only difference. Someone who listen to this, message us and tell us if we're full of shit, because we're not political.
That? We just went on and on about like what people should be doing in government. Then we like get to like the root of it. And we're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Take all that what we just said with a grain of salt or something, because.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's maybe that's the point though. Everyone has all these beliefs and no one puts the freaking work in to actually know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
They just pick something and run with it.
Yeah, they just pick the 4 things that CNN tells you to believe in or Fox tells you to believe in, and then we go and riot.
Boom. So so that's what I'm saying. Find what matters.
Yeah.
And actually like be able to articulate on it.
Yeah.
At us.
Yeah. Yeah, and message us. See what you think. See what you're saying. So I'm going to be late for dinner now, but we went way past the end of the episode.
Sorry, Tay.
Alex, sorry, honey. Alex's word of those bunch is his what, and it's because of his picture in his brain that he has for his future life, and if it doesn't get him there, he doesn't do it.
Jackson, I know Tyler's living out his dream out there, but we miss him here, so bring him back soon.
That's not going to happen.
I know it's not. Guy can try.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Alex, tell the nice listeners where they can find you on any social on Instagram, and then tell them our businesses' social media.
Yeah, so you can find us at Marolt Meany MKT.
Yep.
On Instagram, Facebook. My personal is Al_Marolt2 on Twitter, and Al_Marolt11 on Instagram.
Nice. Yeah, so check out our businesses account if you're a business owner out there and you want some cheap but really, really solid marketing work done. Hit us up. We'll come out. We'll do some work for you, whether you're around where we live or not. We can do a lot of our stuff fully remotely. So yeah, there you have it. That's a podcast. Thanks everyone for listening.